Ariana Grande has come a long way since we last saw her on Sam and Cat and Victorious. Who could forget those hilarious moments with her character Cat Valentine?
Well, hello, if you please. Free hugs! Who wants a free hug? I'm throwing a giant party! That's so fun!
Not the weirdest thing I've walked in on here.
But the Nickelodeon days were just the beginning. After hanging up her bright red wig, Ariana transformed from teen sitcom star to one of Hollywood's biggest singers, breaking records, topping charts, and racking up awards.
And the American Music Award goes to...
Ariana Grande!
And taking her to heart. So it's my pleasure to say that the iHeartRadio Young Influencer Award goes to... Miss Ariana Grande!
It's safe to say that making the jump from TV to the music scene paid off in a big way, quite literally. Now with a net worth soaring past $240 million, Ariana is living the life most of us can only dream of. So how does this former Nickelodeon star spend all that cash? Well, when you have that kind of money, you buy homes. Lots of them. Here's the thing though. Ariana didn't get into the real estate game right away. Like many of us who've spent time couch surfing or in rentals that barely fit our IKEA furniture, she was a renter too. Sure, her rentals were a bit fancier, but still. First on her portfolio was a French manor-style rental in Toluca Lake, Los Angeles, where she lived with her mom right before she started topping all the charts. And this wasn't your typical starter home. Think chandeliers, wine cellars, and a kitchen so fancy that even making toast probably felt like a Michelin star meal. Oh, and the house came with 7 fireplaces. Yep, one for every day of the week. Because what's life without the option of lighting a fire wherever you happen to be? Some of us are over here renting tiny apartments where the neighbor's cat basically has squatter rights, but it's all good, right? Ariana's next rental was straight up dripping with Hollywood history. This Tudor-style home located in Los Angeles once belonged to the Godfather director, Francis Ford Coppola. Aside from the gourmet kitchen and sunroom, the real highlight was the recording studio she built in the basement. Because when you're Ariana Grande, why not turn your rental into your own personal hit factory? Meanwhile, the rest of us can barely get our landlords to replace the broken microwave. By 2015, Ari had a few platinum albums under her belt, so naturally her living situation had to match. She moved into a Mediterranean-inspired mansion in Benedict Canyon, LA, complete with marble interiors that showed up in half her Instagram selfies. It had 5 bedrooms and cost a casual $40,000 per month in rent. Then came her whirlwind romance with comedian Pete Davidson and their engagement. While everyone was busy obsessing over the announcement, Ariana was quietly making real moves, like dropping a casual $16 million on a New York City apartment. That's right, folks. While we're out here debating over the cost of her ring, which was a jaw-dropping $93,000 by the way, Ariana was busy upgrading to a 4,000 square foot, 5-bedroom palace with 4.5 bathrooms, an IMAX theater, and a 75-foot indoor pool. After all, why settle for Netflix on a laptop when you can swim laps while watching it on a theater-sized screen? Sadly, both the relationship and the apartment didn't last. Ariana sold the place for $13.5 million in 2021. No biggie, just a casual couple $1 million loss. By 2020, Ariana planted roots in the West Coast with a $13.7 million ultra-modern mansion in the Hollywood Hills. This place had floor-to-ceiling windows, an infinity pool, and views so gorgeous they could have been her next album cover. It also came with a 300-bottle wine cellar and a wellness center, just in case she needed a little R&R after dominating the music industry. But because Ari doesn't stay put for long, she flipped this beauty for $14 million in 2021. Ariana's next big real estate move involved a little wedding magic. In 2021, she bought a $6.8 million English-style Montecito mansion from none other than Ellen DeGeneres. The California home, known as the Porter House, is actually made of 2 1700-era barns that were shipped over from England and converted into one super chic mansion. This historic estate, known as the Porter House, was the spot where she made things official with Dalton Gomez in 2021. After saying, "I do," she quickly said, "I'm done" to the property, selling it for $9.1 million in 2022. Not one to sit still, Ariana grabbed an $8.9 million cottage in Hollywood's Burge Streets in 2021. It was a modest 1,590 square foot home, which in Ariana terms is probably just big enough to hold her shoe collection. She considered tearing it down at one point, but after her split from Dalton Gomez, she decided to sell it instead. Clearly, she's not one to get too attached to her houses. And in her most recent real estate adventure, Ariana snagged a $4.9 million Hollywood Hills house that once belonged to Cameron Diaz. It's a 2-bedroom, mid-century pad that seemed pretty low-key for someone like Ari. But maybe she's just keeping things simple for now. Impressed? Hold on, because we're about to get into Ariana's wheels. While she's not exactly racing around Hollywood like a speed demon, after that nasty crash she had on her way to a boyfriend's house in 2014, Ariana still owns some seriously impressive cars. And naturally, they're as over the top as you'd expect from someone who basically has a song for every emotion we've ever felt. First up, the 1984 Camaro Z28, featured in her Baby I music video. This classic piece of machinery will set you back around $21,000. It's got a 190 horsepower engine and can hit 0-60 in just under 8 seconds. Not bad, but honestly, this Camaro is more about the aesthetic. With a top speed of 120 miles per hour, it's less Fast and the Furious and more, look at me, I'm fabulous. Now onto something with a bit more speed. Ariana's got a Mercedes-Benz E550 Cabriolet. This bad boy costs $64,000 and comes with a 4.7-liter turbocharged V8 engine pushing 402 horsepower. It can hit 0-60 in 4.8 seconds, which is basically her car telling traffic lights, sorry, I've got places to be. Then there's the Cadillac Escalade, because obviously when you're Ariana Grande, a regular SUV just won't cut it. This rolling fortress of luxury comes in at $83,000. And she's got a 3rd generation Range Rover too, sitting at $84,000. For the times when Ari is feeling eco-friendly, she's got a Tesla Model S that set her back a cool $107,000. Elon Musk approved, of course. Now, because one Range Rover isn't enough, she's also got the Range Rover SV Autobiography. This isn't just any Range Rover though, it's the bougiest one you can get, priced at $179,000. And to match that, there's the $180,000 Mercedes AMG G63. At this point, it's basically like Ariana's garage is trying to outshine her award shelf. But hold on, because we kept the best for last. The crown jewel of her collection is the Ferrari 488 GTB, coming in at an eye-watering $263,000. This beast has a 660 horsepower engine. It can hit 0-60 in just 2.7 seconds. Yeah, you read that right. 2.7 seconds with a top speed of 201 miles per hour. Forget driving, this thing is practically flying. So while Ari might not be hitting the road like a speed demon these days, her garage is packed with some fast toys. Not bad for someone who once sang about wanting to stay in bed all day. When it comes to fashion, Ari's known for pulling off some iconic looks, like her famous look to the 2020 Oscars.
And 3, 2, 1, action!
But her favorite fashion pieces are oversized puffer jackets and thigh-high boots, which we never get tired of seeing. One of her favorites is a Fendi oversized puffer that could easily double as a makeshift tent. It set her back $2,900. That's a hefty price for something that looks like it could survive a camping trip, but when you're Ariana Grande, who cares if your jacket could also be a sleeping bag? Then there's her thigh-high boots. $1,800 showstoppers that even Beyonce herself has been spotted rocking. It's basically like wearing a crown, but on your feet. And let's face it, when your boots cost almost $2,000 and have Beyonce vibes, you're practically walking on royalty. But it's not just Fendi and Prada for Ari. Her stylist once let it slip that some of her concert outfits come from, adult stores. Yeah, really. Imagine thinking you're trying on a leather jacket only to realize it's more 50 Shades than Fashion Week. But she pulls it off, so that's a win if you ask me. Speaking of fashion choices, Ariana's iconic ponytail deserves to have its own fan base, and we won't be surprised to learn that it does. But did you know it also comes with a hefty price tag? No way you thought all that mane was actually hers. Technically, she paid for it, so it is hers, but you get our drift. Back to the price tag, Ariana's hair is usually styled by the one and only Tokyo Styles, and these visits to this hairstylist don't come cheap. We're talking up to $5,000 per hair appointment to keep her hair in game. And here we are trying to justify that $50 haircut. But it's not just fashion for the singer, the real fun is in her tattoos, and Ari loves to ink up. She has really come a long way from her first tattoo, a tiny heart to celebrate her first album. Now she's got around 44 tattoos and we're still counting. So how much has she spent getting all these tattoos? Well, some of these tasks were done by the famous Kay Navassard, who requires a $100 deposit just to breathe the same air as him apparently. Between getting tattoos and then having them altered post-breakup, Ariana has dropped at least $4,400 in tattoos. And we've not even started to add up the alterations. Aha, speaking of tattoos, do you remember the infamous 7 rings tattoo? The tattoo was supposed to say 7 rings in Japanese, but it ended up spelling out grill instead. That might be the most expensive typo we've ever seen, but at least Ari owns it with pride. But the singer doesn't just splurge on herself. She's known to spend a lump of cash on her friends too. She wasn't kidding. After the breakup with Pete Davidson, she and 6 of her friends went shopping and Ari bought 7 rings for herself and her friends. Correction, she bought 8. Because why stop at 7 when you can throw in 1 for the director of your music video? These rings weren't from the clearance bin either, nope. They strolled into Tiffany & Co. to get these rings. And given that they cost anywhere from $12,900 to $145,000 a piece, we can assume she dropped anywhere from $103,200 to $1.16 million on these rings. Friendship bracelets? Please. When you're Ariana Grande, friendship comes with diamonds. When it comes to vacationing and taking a break from her busy life, Ariana doesn't just book a room at a hotel like the rest of us peasants. Oh no, that's so last century. She's more of an Airbnb girl, and she's known to drop as much as $10,500 for just one night. These rentals aren't your average cozy cottages though. We're talking mansions with 7 bedrooms, a private chef, a bowling alley, and a movie theater. So how does she get to these luxurious locations? Private jets, of course. Here's the thing though, Ariana could totally buy a private jet, her bank account can handle it, but instead of owning one outright, she opts to charter. But she doesn't just charter any random jet, oh no. She's often seen aboard the Gulfstream G650, which ranges from $58 up to $70 million. So how much do these charters cost? As much as $30,000 per trip. When she's not jet setting, Ariana is probably living up at parties, popping bottles of her favorite Dom Perignon champagne, which ranges anywhere from $300 to $11,179 per bottle. Meanwhile, the rest of us are out here sipping $12 Prosecco and pretending to be fancy. You know spending the pot money is never enough without some fancy exotic pets. For Ari, we're not talking about just one pet either. Ari has 9 dogs: Coco, Toulouse, Cinnamon, Strauss, Lafayette, Pignoli, Myron, Snape, and Lily. She also has a micro pig named Piggy Smalls. Nothing out of the ordinary here. After all, even George Clooney owned one too, just in a bigger size. As you'd expect, these pets are living it up with their mama. In fact, 2 of her pups have been spotted in Tiffany dog collars worth $250 each. That's the cost of some people's car payment, but hey, when you've got Ariana money, even your dog has to look the part.